Welcome back everybody to Zlatan's Fight Picks. Today we'll be going over the fights for UFC 291, Poirier versus Gaethje 2. Sorry, last week we missed was out of town, so could not make a video. But I did make a video 2 weeks ago, and it was Holmes versus Bueno Silva. And we got 10 out of 12 on that one. There was two mistakes. One of them was the upset with Bueno Silva, and which I kind of I was worried about happening. But the other one was what was that? The Iron Turtle versus Duraev, and that was another mistake. Coincidentally, I had posted some of those results or predictions. And realistically, I picked all the favorites except for one, and somebody commented that, hey, you picked all the favorites, like big deal. Well, coincidentally, all the favorites that card won except for one, which was the main event. Bueno Silva was the underdog, and she was the sole underdog that did win. So, you know, most of the time actually all the time, whenever I'm picking fights, I actually don't look at who the favorite is and who's the underdog. I don't let that influence my decision. I'll just go into it just not knowing, just because I don't want to be influenced by who they think is going to win. So pretty much I'm always picking just who I think is going to win, and I try to do it as quick as I can, just because I don't want to hear it by accident, kind of thing, right? So nevertheless, we're going into this card, and I did this card, and oh man, this card, it's a great card. And it is a hard card to pick. There are so many fights with so many variables and that are so close. I mean, whoa, it's pretty exciting. Like, I tell you that much. And I gotta admit, I kind of went back and forth quite a few, and on a few of them, I flipped my picks, at least probably on 5 of them. So, and about 3 of them, I flipped them twice. Like, every time I would put more thought into it, it'd be like, oh, what about this? Or oh, what about that? And then I would change it. So then I finally said, you know what? Let's just go with your gut on a lot of these. And unfortunately, I did know some of the odds by that point. And I think some of these underdogs that are picked are simply, well, not simply, but part of the reasoning is, if it's going to be a coin flip and I can't make up my mind, I'm going to go with the underdog. So, I mean, realistically, if you're going to have to pick, you're better off picking those, right? So nevertheless, let's get to this. We're going to start with the early prelims, which were probably the hardest to pick. So, and we'll move on to the main card. So let's get started. We're starting off with Miranda Maverick versus Priscilla Cachoeira. Miranda Maverick, 5'3", 65.5 inches tall. 65.5 inch reach. 26 years old. Priscilla Cachoeira, 5'7", 65 inch reach, 34 years old. I mean, first of all, there's an 8-year difference in age, which is still not critical, because Cachoeira is only 34, but she is getting into that prime / about to drop out of your prime age group. She is a lot taller. The reach is the same, but you know, I mean, 4-inch height difference. And this is exactly, I always have a problem with Miranda Maverick. I had a problem last time I picked her, even though I picked her to win. She had I thought she was the better and more technical fighter, but she lost, and I think it's Jared Vicious that beat her, and handily too. So, and here we go again. I think Miranda's the better mixed martial artist. I think she's definitely better on the ground. She's an okay striker, and Priscilla Cachoeira is not good on the ground, but she's a great striker, very powerful. But just the sheer size difference. She's such a little midget, you know, in this weight class, and she's always going to be having this uphill battle. But it's hard to pick against her because she is such a good wrestler. Now, the last fight, she had also ran into a wrestler who might not have been a better wrestler, but because of her size, was able to beat her in wrestling, not because of technique, but rather size. And that's the situation that happened there. Now, it's not so blatant here because Cachoeira can't wrestle, so Maverick can have a way to win, and it'll be strictly to take her to the ground. Like that's it. She's not going to win a striking battle. She's not a good striker. She kind of just pushes her punches. She's not a real powerful striker. She's not crisp. She's okay. She's technically sound, but Cachoeira's got a lot of power. She's one of the few girls in this division that has one punch knockout power. Has knocked out a lot of people. I mean, and here's the thing. Maverick took it on short notice. But it's just hard to pick against Maverick because she has a path to victory. Cachoeira is susceptible to the ground game. She's lost, I think, almost all her fights when she's been taken to the ground. It's hard to pick against Maverick. So the pick is going to be Maverick, low confidence. But yeah, I mean, I'd love to pick Cachoeira for the knockout. But Maverick is pretty durable. Mind you, what's her name? Lipski was pretty durable too, and she got knocked out by Cachoeira. But Lipski had a different, I don't know, I think she just got caught, and I just don't think Lipski was as well-rounded back then as she could have been. She's a much better fighter now, but Miranda Maverick just came off of a loss. It's not too long ago. I mean, there's a few red flags, but, it's not too long ago. She did lose, but I just got to go with her. I mean, realistically, stylistically, she's the wrestler. She's going to dictate where the fight's going to go. If she can get Cachoeira to the ground, it's going to be over. Cachoeira has to catch her with a punch or knock her out. That's her path to victory. And stop her takedowns. So I got to go with Miranda Maverick on this one. Very slight, low confidence. Next fight. Matthew Semelsberger versus Uros Medic. Now, this is another one I kind of went back and forth on. Matthew Semelsberger, 6'1", 75-inch reach, 11 wins, 5 losses, 30 years old. Uros Medic, 6'1", 71-inch reach, 8 wins, 1 loss, 30 years old. I mean, they're the same age, they're the same height. Semelsberger's got a longer reach. Uros Medic was fighting in lightweight. He's moved up to welterweight for this matchup. And right off the bat, I mean, I had picked Semelsberger. He's long. He's generally a lankier, longer guy than most of his competitors. He's not super fast, but he's durable and he can take enough shots, and he is powerful. So he takes enough shots where he gets his shot off, and his right hand is money. So he's not the last opponent he knocked out twice. The opponent before that, he knocked down 3 times. He never knocked him out. He ended up losing the last fight in a split decision because the other opponent was a good wrestler and took him to the ground and enough ground control where he had won enough rounds. The fight before that, he was getting outstruck, and he had fought Matthews, who also, coincidentally, a lot of these guys are fighting on the same card. Yeah, he fought Matthews, and now Matthews was the better technical striker, and he was faster. Semelsberger had a little more power. So when he did hit him, he knocked him down. He knocked him down 3 times. And that won the fight for him. If he didn't get those knockdowns, he wouldn't have won the striking battle. He probably would have lost that fight. But he did. And Matthews, questionable chin as well. Coincidentally, he's on this card. But Uros Medic, he's going to be faster. He's a fast striker. He doesn't really go to a decision. He really got beat really bad by the tarantula. What's his name? Turner. Yeah, Turner. He got beat handily by him, and it's hard to tell if it was one of those bad nights. Got clipped really bad and couldn't recover. But he got beat handily. On the other fights, he fights really well. He's really fast. He's moving up a weight class. I mean, it's not such a bad thing because he's 6'1". Maybe he's going to be able to take even a better punch. He might be able to carry the speed through. If he does, he's going to be faster than Semelsberger. I'm expecting him to be faster than Semelsberger. I was going to pick Semelsberger because I thought, okay, he can absorb a lot of the punishment like he has with everyone else and knock down. My problem is Medic is kind of untested at 170, but at the same time, he brings a little bit of that speed and he's pretty durable still. I mean, this is going to be a close fight. It's going to go down to a decision. I kind of went back and forth. I'm going to go with the underdog. I think Uros Medic might surprise us at 170, his new weight class, his new division. Semelsberger, durable, powerful. I find him a little slow. Even though I find he does find the punches to land, I find him slower anyway. So after going back and forth, I'm going to have a slight lean to Medic just for the upset. So yeah, final pick's going to be Medic. Semelsberger is definitely live in this one. He's not an underdog. He's the favorite, so he's definitely live. But I'm going to go with the underdog in this one. I think there's going to be a lot of close fights. There'll be a lot of upsets, a lot of underdogs winning. Moving on. CJ Vergara versus Vinicius Salvador. CJ Vergara, 5'6", 68-inch reach, 11 wins, 4 losses, 1 draw, 32 years old. Vinicius Salvador, 5'7", 70.5-inch reach, 14 wins, 5 losses, 26 years old. CJ Vergara, he's a very durable guy, super tough, super fast. He always comes in as the underdog, and he always wins. So he's good. I mean, I like betting on this guy. Except for one time, I think there's Clydeston. I think I bet on Clydeston Rodriguez, and he won a split decision against him. And Vinicius Salvador, you know, he's a big puncher, tall, lanky, very powerful, very durable. Hasn't been knocked down, hasn't been close to being knocked out, where Vergara was almost knocked out by Lacerda in the last fight, but it was with a heel, with a kick to the head, and he recovered and he came back and he won. Mind you, he might not have come back and won against anyone else. Lacerda actually just gassed later on in that, as the second round went on, like Lacerda does. But going back and forth on this one, I had picked originally Vergara to win this. So after thinking about it and seeing how the Clydeston Rodriguez fight went, I mean, Vergara could have easily lost that fight. It was a split decision. He had lost the first round in the striking. In the second round, he was losing the fight until Clydeston tried to take him down, and he got reversed, and he couldn't get out of that position, and he got beat up really bad. And then he came back in the third round. The third round was really close. So that was where the split decision kind of happened. But he was also banged up so bad from the ground and pound that it was hard for him to recover, even though he did pretty good in the third round. I thought he actually won the third round, but the decision went to CJ Vergara. But I don't know, I just have this feeling this could be Salvador's day. He's taller, he's lankier, he's got a little bit of reach. I mean, I don't like the fact that he loops his punches so much. That's the only hesitation I have. Vergara is a little cleaner, straighter punching. This fight's not going to go to the ground unless Vergara wants to go to the ground. Salvador's not going to go to the ground. But I think he's got pretty good takedown defense. I think they're both going to stand and bang. They're both very durable. You got straighter punches from Vergara, more looping punches by Salvador. It's going to be such a close fight. This is going to go down to a decision. And again, having the choice, I'm going to go with the underdog. I'm going to go with Salvador. Slight lean towards Salvador. Vergara's been getting away with a lot of split decisions and close decisions. I mean, eventually that stops, right? So Salvador, on the other hand, has been on the other end of it. So, a lot of close fights, but not winning. Nevertheless, I'm going to go with Salvador. I'm going to go with the underdog. So what's that? So yeah, 2 underdogs, 1 favorite so far as we move on. All right, next fight for the prelims. Those are all the early prelims. For the prelims, here we go. Jake Matthews versus Darius Flowers. Jake Matthews, 5'11", 73-inch reach, 18 wins, 6 losses, 28 years old. Darius Flowers, 5'9", 71-inch reach, 12 wins, 5 losses, 1 draw, 28 years old. Same age. There's going to be a 2-inch height difference, 2-inch reach difference for Matthews. Matthews, again, like I said, the last fight he fought was Semelsberger a while ago. So Jake Matthews, great on the ground, good jiu-jitsu, good striking, pretty solid guy. Depends which day it is. He'll come through some days and he'll look like a world beater, the next contender. And other days he looks absolutely terrible. But I think it's got more to do with his chin. I think he's a little chinny, this guy. This guy is a little chinny, so he worries me. Sometimes he can take the punch, but there's certain punches that just he can't take. And I don't know if it's because of the angle. I don't know what it is, but sometimes he takes them and sometimes he doesn't take them. And that is the problem. Darius Flowers, he's taking it on short notice. He's a good wrestler, very powerful puncher, very fast starter. He's the kind of guy that's either he's going to beat you in the first round, knock you out, or he's probably going to lose. So that's the dilemma here. As Jake Matthews is he going to be able to withstand it? But given the fact that Darius Flowers is his first time in the UFC, short notice, Jake Matthews, lots of experience. Hopefully, he uses his fight IQ to stay away in the first round and not get clipped and not get caught, takes Flowers to the ground. I think Flowers is a good wrestler, but his jiu-jitsu is lacking. Matthews, great jiu-jitsu. I'm not even worried if Flowers takes Matthews to the ground. I think he's probably safer there. But the chances for Darius Flowers are going to be some kind of knockout. That's the only chance he has. I'm going to pick Matthews. I got a high degree of confidence Matthews should win. Mind you, it's Matthews. So having the experience with him and betting on him, you don't know. So, but he should win, definitely. Moving on. Let's go on to Roman Kapilov versus Claudio Ribeiro. Roman Kapilov, 6 feet tall, 75-inch reach, 10 wins, 2 losses, 32 years old. Claudio Ribeiro, 6'1", 77-inch reach, 11 wins, 3 losses, 31 years old. Same age, 1-inch height difference, 2-inch reach difference. It's close. Claudio Ribeiro, mostly a striker, even though in his last fight I think he took somebody down. I don't think he's really that good of a takedown artist where he's going to take Roman Kapilov down. He's developed his ground game quite a bit in the last few fights where Roman Kapilov was susceptible to the ground game. He has fixed it enough where he's got a good enough takedown defense where he's not being taken down very easily. And I don't think Claudio Ribeiro has a good enough takedown game to take him down. So I think it's going to be a striking matchup. Roman Kapilov's far more the better technical striker. Claudio Ribeiro is not his technical striker, but he's super powerful, super dangerous. I think Kapilov can take a punch. I think he can avoid a punch. I think he can roll with a punch. I think he can block a punch. I think he's just a better technical striker. This is going to be a striking matchup. Kapilov should win this. Ribeiro, although good and exciting, he's a little too raw in the striking for Kapilov. So I think Kapilov is going to win this. Decent amount of confidence in this, but you never know with a knockout. But I think Kapilov could survive this. I've seen him get hit quite a few times and rocked and, come back. Nevertheless, moving on. Roman Kapilov will be the pick. Derek Lewis versus Marcos Rogerio de Lima. Derek Lewis, 6'3", 79-inch reach, 26 wins, 11 losses, 38 years old. Marcos Rogerio de Lima, 6'1", 75-inch reach, 21 wins, 9 losses, 1 draw, 38 years old. Same age. Records are very similar. Derek Lewis is 6'3", 79-inch reach. Marcos Rogerio, 6'1". If he's 6'1", he looks a little shorter than that. 75-inch reach. He's going to have a reach disadvantage. I love betting on Marcos Rogerio de Lima. He's very stout, very powerful, throws big bombs, and as he's throwing big bombs, he's got a good shot. He's good on the ground. He's a good wrestler. But I think that he's good at mid-range. And I think Lewis has fought a lot of guys a lot better than him. He's lost to a lot of guys that are better than him. But I don't think, even at this age, and this might be his retirement fight for all we know. I'm hearing rumors that, he could be, on the way out. Which worries me because I don't know how hard he's going to fight. But given the fact that I don't think Rogerio de Lima has a really good gas tank anyway, I think him and Lewis will be no better than each other, at least. But I know Lewis carries his power through, and he's a knockout puncher. I think Rogerio de Lima is going to try to take down Lewis. I think Lewis has a pretty good takedown defense. I think that if he got taken down, he could still get back up. He's going to be the bigger guy. It's going to be close, but Derek Lewis is the underdog, and I'm going to go with Derek Lewis. I think he's going to pull this off, even though I like Rogerio de Lima. I just think at this level, he's going to have a problem. It's going to go down to a decision. I think Lewis wins a decision. I think Lewis can win by KO, even Rogerio de Lima has not been KO'd. I think it's going to go down to a decision. I think Rogerio de Lima is going to have a hard time taking Lewis down. And Lewis is going to be able to be too dangerous on the feet. And I think he's going to hit him a few times and get a few points. And I think he's going to win this fight. Lewis is going to be the pick. And he's the underdog. Next fight, Gabriel Bonfim versus Trevin Giles. Gabriel Bonfim, 6'1", 72-inch reach, 14 wins, 0 losses, 25 years old. Trevin Giles, 6 feet tall, 74-inch reach, 16 wins, 4 losses, 30 years old. They're both young. They're both in their prime. They're both about the same height. Bonfim is 1 inch taller. Trevin Giles got 2-inch reach advantage. Here's the thing. Trevin Giles, great fighter, good boxer, probably a legend in his own mind. He thinks he's better than he is, but he's a great mid-range fighter. He'll beat a lot of guys, and he's getting better on the ground. He's got great takedown defense. He's getting pretty good on the ground as well. Gabriel Bonfim, a little more raw. He's a good striker, but I don't think he's at the striking level of Giles, especially with Giles' jab. But Bonfim, the last time I saw him fight, his level of submission skills on the ground is phenomenal. So I know Trevin Giles got decent takedown defense and is pretty good on the ground, but Bonfim is heads or tails better than this guy. Bonfim is going to win this fight. This is my most confident pick. Giles is going to lose. Bonfim, even though the last Bonfim brother, he was a big favorite and he lost, I think this Bonfim brother is going to pull this off. I think he's got good enough striking to get close. I think once he gets close, he takes Giles down, he's going to be able to submit him. I think this is going to be a submission by Bonfim. Nevertheless, moving on. Let's go to the main card. All right, Michael Chiesa versus Kevin Holland. Michael Chiesa, 6'1", 75.5-inch reach, 18 wins, 6 losses, 35 years old. Kevin Holland, 6'3", 81-inch reach, 24 wins, 9 losses, 30 years old. They're both in their prime. I think Chiesa is definitely at the end of his career. I don't think he's too old, but I'm wondering if he's moving on. He's already an announcer. He hasn't fought in almost 2 years. I don't know where his head's at to fight. Kevin Holland, I just don't know where his head's at because he makes the dumbest decisions on these fights, and he's a terrible guy to bet on because he literally doesn't try to win the fight as much as he just tries to make the fight interesting. He's so hard to bet on just because you just don't know what you're going to get. This guy makes the worst decisions ever. It's not even important for him to win. That's sad. That's hard to bet on. Michael Chiesa, he's on his way out. I don't think this is going to be here for very many more fights. At first I had picked Chiesa, to be honest. And they're like, okay, Chiesa, I saw who he fought. He fought the Haitian sensation. What's his name? Who's the Haitian sensation? I remember the nicknames, but I don't remember. Oh, that's going to bother me. Let me look this up. The Haitian sensation. Who was he anyways? What's his name? Neil Magny. All right, Neil Magny. So anyways, Neil Magny, same height, same reach as Kevin Holland, same style of fighter, long, lanky, fights on the outside. Neil Magny likes to take people to the fence and grind them out, control them there. Kevin Holland, more of a dynamic striker, likes to stand in front of you and bang, using his reach and his height. Same build. Michael Chiesa beat Neil Magny, took him down 4 times. And I was surprised at how well he did against Neil Magny. And I had originally picked Chiesa because of that. I thought, you know what, if he did it against him, Kevin Holland's no better than Neil Magny. Same weight class, same height, same reach. But after looking at the abilities of Kevin Holland, his